Hello everyone, welcome to chapter 176 on my RLDR Custom Creation YouTube channel. It is the weekend edition and have I got stuff to show you today. So I'm going to show you a few things and then we're going to finish off this countertop. So if you want to see how that works out, all you need to do is stay tuned. Well, I don't know, and maybe I'll take my camera and make you mobile so that you can actually take a look at what I've got done. So I have all 20 drawers installed, and a lot of them have junk in them already, which is going to be necessary for me to get this place cleaned up so that I can have students in here next week. Now, for next Tuesday, it's not critically important that I have the shop completely cleaned because the first day I spend with the new students, we'll talk about things. We'll make sure we get all the forms signed and get all the paperwork handed out and get that done. Talk about projects so that if they want something that I don't have designed or developed, I have some time while we're wood turning to do those other things. So there is a little bit of a method to my madness. So like I say, I don't need the shop in prime working condition this coming Tuesday. But after that I will. And I'll need to haul a few lathes in here, so that means I need to get some things cleaned up a bit. But that's all going to happen. So, but I need this countertop done as well. So that's one thing we're going to talk about today, or we're going to actually do it today. But before we do that, yeah, the drawer stuff, I needed to get these drawers in, and they all work really nicely. But I needed to get them in to get all the pieces off the floor, because I cut everything for all the drawers, and cutting pieces for 20 drawers, that's a bit of a stack of material. So this way, it's where it's supposed to be. It's occupying its space and not cluttered on the floor. So, and what I'm doing right now, and I know this probably makes no sense to anybody, but it's kind of the way I work. I'm just throwing things in drawers, but trying to do it somewhat thematically. For example, this drawer has, oh, that's kind of sticky at the end there. Oh, it's just because it hasn't been used. But I've got all the digital calipers in here that I own, and apparently I have quite a few. But whenever I would see a digital caliper in the shop, I would come and throw it in this drawer. Now, that doesn't mean they'll necessarily stay here. There are also some guitar parts in here, but I've started another drawer for guitar parts over there, so I'll be moving them. But anyway, the key is to get everything, like things, together. And then I'll plan the drawer and maybe put in some storage bins or whatever. I don't think I'm going to go through the process of doing the foam inserts like I'm doing for my mechanic style tools. That I don't think I'm going to do. The only drawer right now I would consider doing that in is my turning drawer. So my chucks and jaws and chuck keys and all that stuff, I would consider doing it for that. That'll probably occupy 2 drawers or 3 when it's done. So, but what I like to do today, and actually I won't get to do it today, is put epoxy on this counter. Now I'm using this, it's a Saman, I guess that's how I pronounce it, S-A-M-A-N kit. And I bought this at Rona quite a while ago. I'm not even exactly sure why. I think I was planning to use it on my main table, and I just didn't get around to it. Or did I buy it because it was cheap? I'm not sure. But anyway, I'm going to put it on this countertop, but it sounds like one kit isn't enough to do this. So we're on our way to Saskatoon today to pick up some other stuff anyway. So my plan is to stop at Rona, and then maybe tomorrow morning we'll put this on. I was hoping today yet I'd probably do the masking before we go. One of the things that irritates me to no end with epoxy countertop kits when they're applied is the drips on the bottom edge. And so there's a business in town here that did that to their countertop. And every time I walk in there, I grab the counter and I play with those little lumps on there. I find it really annoying. So anyway, I want to try to have that not happen to mine. But we got some masking to do. And then we're going to go to Saskatoon, pick up another kit. Now, these things, it says it covers 6 square feet. Even with 2 kits, technically I won't have enough according to this formula. But I think I'm going to go with it anyway. I don't know if I want to pick up 3 kits. Maybe, I'll see. I'll make a decision as I drive to Saskatoon. But this is from Rona. I've never used this kit before. So we're going to try it. The other ones that I've used are the Varathane version of this that I picked up at the orange store. So we'll go to Rona for this. So anyway, it's time to put some masking tape on here. I want to make sure I don't get any epoxy on the walls. And I need to come up with a creative way of masking underneath here so I don't get the drips. So anyway, here we go. And always... once in a while I can turn around, and this is a tight squeeze under the window here, so I just get the tape in on top, and then, oops, that isn't working. I have to get it to slide underneath a little bit. Now there will be a little bit of a backsplash going on here as well, and that even if I get a little bit of epoxy on the wall, it won't be the end of the world. Okay, well, that's the back side. That was pretty easy. Now, what I'm thinking of doing is just putting tape on the stile, or rail, sorry, and kind of letting it flow, but breaking one of the rules of applying epoxy. And as this bottom end starts to solidify, I'm just going to stay in here and take a brush and brush the tips off. I know that isn't the way you should do it, but I won't get a brush involved or anything up here. But down under here where nobody's going to see it anyway, and just as long as I don't have the bumps, I think I can live with that. So I think that's the way I'm going to mask this. There we go. Okay, well now probably for sure you won't be able to see me. Yeah, if I ever would be successful on YouTube, the first person I would hire is a camera person. I think that could make a real difference in the quality of video that I shoot. But I think this is going to work. There we go. Now on that side there where the cabinet ends about here and it angles to there, I don't think I'm going to do anything special. I may not even finish that with epoxy under there. First of all, I don't think I'll have enough. And secondly, it will never need it. So, and there we go, the masking is done. So I have already cleaned this countertop really well, but since it's going to be tomorrow before I put this on, I think I'll have to clean the dust off again. So anyway, and the other thing is, when you're using a product like this and you've never used it before, like me in this situation, just read the instructions. They're really quite good. So I haven't tried this one yet, but the other kits of stuff that I've used and other finishes, if you read the instructions, that's what the manufacturer recommends. And they should know their product probably better than me. So anyway, I'm going to make a trip to Saskatoon, spend some money, and I'll be back here tomorrow to put this nice shiny finish on. and then I can mount the grinder where it goes. Boy, I have real decisions to make then, and we'll go from there. Okay, see you tomorrow morning. Well, yesterday I drove into Saskatoon, thought I'd just pick up another one of these, and then as I did some math as I was driving, I've probably got, what did I figure here, about 16, 17 square feet to do, and one of these things covers 6. So I figured, okay, well, I'm going to need to buy 2 of these. So when I got to Rona, they only had one kit like this, but they had a bigger kit. So this does, how many liters does this do? 25.6 square feet at 1/16 of an inch thick. So this will be more than enough. I actually think with the excess that I'm going to have, I'm going to maybe cast a couple of pen blanks or something, just see if this works for that. And then maybe, well, I think I have another countertop that I am going to do. So I'm going to kind of start mixing this up and get going. Now, I've changed a little bit of my prep since yesterday. I got realizing that, okay, this isn't just going to get wiped on and it's not going to go anywhere. This is going to level itself, and it's going to be thick enough to flow and run until it solidifies. So that meant that the back of my counter wasn't quite tight to the wall, so I put a little bridge of tape in there to make sure it is. Even if it leaves a little bit of a lip there, like I said yesterday, we are going to put some backsplash on there, so that's not going to be a problem. And on the front here, I decided that maybe what I should do is put a little bit of a ledge here so it can't run underneath and drip on the floor. So hopefully I've thought of everything. I wouldn't count on it because I never do, but hopefully this is going to work out. So I am going to bring you back when I mix this. But maybe before I do that, the countertop, they mentioned sanding it to 120, somewhere in there. This is a little coarser than that. This is 80 grit, but I'm not worried about that. But if you're pouring a kit like this at home, read the instructions. They're really quite good. So I'm going to start mixing and pouring, and we're going to get this done. Well, I think I've got everything I need here. I've got my drill and mixer. This might go a little bit fast for the small containers, so hopefully that's going to work. I've got my squeegee. I've got a couple of brushes there, and my instructions right over here. So it says to mix these equal amounts, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour 12 ounces of this, a part A. Ooh, that's a little thicker than I expected. There we go. That's 12 ounces of A. And it suggests pouring B into A. So I'm going to mix this in 1 cup. What they do is they mix in 2 cups and then pour them together, but I don't have that many cups. So I'm just going to pour part B in out of the container here. Maybe a tad bit riskier, but I think I can handle it. So part B, we're going to go up to 24 ounces here. There we go. That worked nicely. Now for the tough part. Let's see how this works. It says to mix for 2 minutes. I'm not timing this. that's got a little bit of air introduced into it. There we go. Okay, I'm going to leave that. I'm going to mix up 3 of these, and then I'm going to flood the whole system. Okay, this one will be over here, this one will be here. Got the squeegee. I did blow this off again so it's clear. Just going to stir it just a little bit before I pour it. It looks like the air bubbles that I introduced with mixing it a little more aggressively have disappeared. Oh well, let's go for it. I probably didn't stir it quite enough. I hope I don't pay for that later. Okay, let's make a countertop. Ooh, I like the look of that. And maybe in hindsight, I shouldn't have mixed the 3rd one. But it's too late now. It's mixed. Yeah, that's running off like I thought. Okay, that's why I have that epoxy on the floor by my other toolbox. When I epoxied that, I will have lost a bit off the edge like I just did here. And this epoxy is really tough. Like that stuff I had spilt on the floor there by the other countertop that I did this on. That's been a couple years and it hasn't come off yet. So I'm just going to lightly level this now. And that's looking really quite nice. This kit, this Salmon kit, was a little cheaper than what the Orange Store sells, the Varathane kit. So I don't know if there's any difference between the two. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to wash those out. I never checked into that. I have a feeling that these containers are throwaway. Okay, I think that's going to be good. Put it into that one. Move that over there. And away we go. Now I think I'm applying this thicker than what I did with the other one. Because if I remember correctly, with that other one, I was short. I was going to be short on product to do the square footage I was doing. And I tried to make sure I got done. This, I'm letting be a little thicker, which I like way better. Oops, that's on the shoes. Thank goodness I'm wearing my old stuff today. And this, you've seen the smock I've been wearing for a long time already. It's all full of paint and everything, and I had wanted to replace it, but I'm still looking into doing some kind of printing, like to get my logo on some materials here, and I'm having some difficulty finding somebody to do it is a problem. And but now I realize that with heat transfer, I could maybe even make my own stuff. So we're looking into that. But I know there's one or two of you that expressed interest if I ever started printing shirts, you'd like one. And I think I'm going to do that yet, but that's before I would sell to the public. We're a ways away from that because I would like to test my product with me using it before I try to get others to do it. Yeah, I should have maybe put a little bit more tape on there. It's leaking off a bit. Just want to make sure I don't miss anything. Then unfortunately I have to drill holes in this. I need to mount my grinders to it. So I hope I get that right the first time. Hope I thought this through. Okay, I'm out. You may not even be able to see this anymore. I have a little extra. Nice thing about this, I like this kit. It's worked exactly the way it was. Let's give this maybe half. Let's try that at first. This was the area where I had a little bit of a void because of one of the plies was a little narrower than the surrounding plies, so it didn't allow the clamps to draw it tight. And that excess, I don't know what I'm going to do with. I was going to do some pen blanks or something, but I have nothing ready because I wanted to get this done. And that, doing YouTube, I tell you, that's a lot of pressure because I would like to get this shot and edited and out today yet. And yeah, there's pressure. It's going to look good, I think. I think I'm going to need a little bit more, though. I'm going to get some. There we go. Oh, making a bit of a mess here, but good thing there's a lot of dust. Just going to, seems to be working nicely. It's a little bit light there. It might be tomorrow before I get this video out. Maybe my wife will be feeling better by then. She can do it. That'd be great. I'd love to have her doing it. She has done a little bit of camera for me and the renovation stuff, which I really appreciated. Well, wow, I love it. That is awesome. I'm going to take this brush and get it underneath and try to get the drips off. I would not classify this as a how-to video because I have not done this before and I am just learning. But I think from what I see so far, I think that's it. Okay, and I'm going to come back and clean the floor off a little bit, and I have to figure out what kind of if there's a solvent for this stuff, because I have a squeegee. Maybe if I wipe it off really good while things are wet, and then let them dry, and maybe I can flex container and it'll flake off. But anyway, I'm going to leave this alone now. The next shot of this will be when it's dry. So I have to look and see how long that is, but we'll come back when it's finished. Well, remember that thing I forgot to prepare for or bring it here earlier? My heat gun? I'm noticing a couple little things that I think might be bubbles. They're really hard to see, but I'm going to run the heat gun over this and just have to be very careful that you don't get the cord in this. So want to make sure I don't make any mess. It looks good. Okay, well, this is going to be really hot, this tip, so be careful if you use a heat gun. They say a hair dryer works too, but I'm not sure. I thought I'd go with a little bit more heat. Uh, from what I can tell now, this seems to be fine. As it hardens, I'll probably see something I missed, or I'll think of something I missed, but if this was hardened like this, I would be ecstatic. This is wonderful. So, okay, it says about 5 hours to let this harden, and then it's fully cured in 72. So I'll bring you back maybe when I'm editing the video tonight. I'll bring you back and let you take a look, and maybe I can put my hand on it by then. Okay, we'll be back. Well, it's about almost 5 hours later, and it's still a little bit tacky, but I think it's giving me a pretty clear indication of what this is going to be like. And if I could have poured this when I wanted to on Friday, I would have waited till Saturday to release the video, and it would have been hardened perfectly. But I'm going to get this video out today yet, so that's why it's still a little tacky, but man, oh man, does it ever look good. I am so happy with this. I thought I had a couple of air bubbles here, but I don't see anything that I don't like. And the other underside is pretty smooth. So again, a win. So yeah, this worked. I think this is going to work out really well. This counter is going to become my sharpening station. So right now the plan is my turning sharpening grinder, my variable speed with CBN wheel on it, I think is going to sit in here somewhere. I'm just looking at the edge here. It looks good. Probably going to sit about here, I think. And on the other side, I have a grinder that's going to be my plain iron chisel sharpening station. And then I have other things in here that need a place yet. I'm not going to get everything on here, but that's okay. But yeah, it worked out great. Is this a really good way to do a countertop? This was never designed to go onto shop counters where there's going to be some impact and You know, maybe you beat on it every once in a while. Shoot, I've even welded on my other one. But the nice thing about it is, like, that's probably about 3 years old now, my first one that I did this way. And it gets abused. Like, it gets treated quite roughly. And I think if I would take an 80 grit random orbital sander, sand it nicely, and I could recoat it again and it would last another 5 years. So I like it. We're going to keep doing it. Is it the most cost-effective way? Well, not really sure. This was $150 to do. Well, no, not quite, because I've got 2 little acrylic turning blanks out of this, so that we'll see how that works out. And I've got about a liter left. So, hey, who knows? But anyway, this is done. I'm going to sit down and edit this, get this out tonight yet, and then you guys can see and you can evaluate how I did. Like I said, I'm excited about it. Yeah. So please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And we will see you on the weekly edition, which I think will also be later next week because I've got students here next week. So that'll cut into this time again. Anyway, take care. Have a great weekend or have a great Sunday. See you in the middle of next week.